about to be underway here in the top 8 of the PizzaBox slice of Standard. I'm joined by HearsayTTV. Looks like Darkstream is going to be on the play here as they are a higher seed. And they are on Grixis mid range, a little bit more of what we think as the stock list. Corpse Appraisers, Make
Hmm.
Disappears, your 4 of Invokes, a couple Bank Busters in the main. This is pretty much closer to the list that we have definitely been accustomed to in Standard. And looks like with March of the Machine, there's only been a couple additions, like the Chandra and the 7 mana. I believe it's Breach the Multiverse is what the card's called. Each
Yeah.
player mills 10, you get to return a couple creatures back. So that card specifically was a major inclusion and has helped these Grixis decks go over the top of Mono White. If you remember over the last few tournaments we've had, Mono White's definitely been able to take Grixis, give it a run for its money. But the inclusion of both of those cards makes sure that the Grixis decks can now go over the top of the Mono
Yeah.
White deck. So we've actually seen the Mono White kind of be pushed out a little bit, specifically in today's tournament as well.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I was saying this the other day because when we finally got the list of all the top eight, all the lists from the Pro Tour and got the breakdown of the cards and stuff, I kind of had a little chuckle at myself because 70% of the field was Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I don't think that card is. I don't think Fable's long for this world much longer. I don't think it's gonna make it to rotation.
So, hearsay, you missed some really big news while you were away. Standard will now be rotating every 3 years. So, for one more year,
Oh
all of
my
the
God!
cards
What?
from Kamigawa, all the cards from Midnight Hunt on, so all the sets that are in Standard now, hearsay, are going to be in Standard until next year, not this year. So, a lot of us, a lot of talk right now, speculation on Twitter, on this stream as well, even in chat, Discord, everywhere about how Fable's probably going to get banned, and even if Fable gets banned, there might be some other cards that might get banned. Maybe Invoke, Shieldred, Atraxa, all these cards that could technically be on the watch list. Bankbuster, a lot of these cards that make up about 50 to 70% of
Yeah,
what
okay.
everyone's playing in their
100,
decks.
yeah, 110%. If we're not seeing a rotation so wait, that means we don't see a rotation in September then, right?
Yeah, that's correct. When Eldraine comes in, there's not going to be a rotation.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, then 100% Fable's gonna get banned. Fable, Invoke, and I want to say Fable, Invoke, and I would honestly like to see Corpse Appraiser fucking dip the fuck out because those Fable is more the glue for sure that makes all these decks work because all the competitive decks are red, black, X. Because Fable is just so good. Fable allows you to keep if you have 6 lands and one Fable, you're probably fine. If you have say 2 lands and a Fable in your hand, you're probably fine. Fable allows you to keep so many hands that you normally wouldn't be able to because it does that much.
Yeah, I mean, Fable is kind of like the expressive iteration of the format right now. Corpus Appraiser, I compare more to what maybe some people remember Rogue Refiner was the card in the energy decks, and then before that, kind of like a Kitchen Finks type card where like it's automatically like a 2-for-1 when it comes down, and then if you get to block something, you get to copy it with Kiki, then it starts to turn into like a 3-for-1 or more. And I think
Yeah.
that alone is like really, really powerful on a card that up front already has really good stats, right? So 3 mana, 3/3, it replaces itself, and it really gives you a lot more. And I mean, even on top of that, it's kind of like a hate card in the graveyard where you can exile like opposing Atraxas, Shieldreds, things that your opponent's going to be able to reanimate. And we see here,
Even
Darkstream's
like
running out
here,
of
like yeah.
cards, and they have to use their negate to essentially stop this go from getting blown out here. But Viralata still has 3 cards in hand, now 4, with their draw step.
But I mean, even like this is the thing too, is that like now like your Blood Tithe Harvester with Fable becomes so powerful because you get a free 3/2 that can swing and attack for you. You can now remove bigger threats. It being able to create a token for you as well. Like Fable does a ton, even like in some decks that run green, being able to copy, say, Titan of Ministry, being able to blow up another enchantment or gain that much more life, or even like the fact that you get another body that can attack with Fable does a ton. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think, and I've said this forever, that Fable is a very fair Magic card because you're given 3 turns to deal with the backside. Yes, it gives you a creature. Again, tons of things that remove it. Its second ability, it allows you to card filter. And then a third time, really given 3 turns, you get the copy, blah, 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 blah. You're given enough time to deal with it before it becomes a problem. But again, it is the glue that holds a lot of these red, black, X decks together. Like there's certain things that just Fable just does wonderfully. And here we got Shielder's coming down. Shielder's another card too. I think it's Shielder can solo any match. That's another really powerful card. But again, like there are removal spells. Like the ye old fucking it dies to removal. Sorry for the curse word there, folks.
It's all good.
um,
Yeah, we see here Corpse Appraiser. You know, like this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Like when you hit a Corpse Appraiser, it just brings you back into the game so hard. Like, look against this Shieldred. Like, yeah, Shieldred's a pretty powerful card, but Corpse Appraiser's digging you to the answer. You can just sacrifice your Blood Tithe Harvester to give the Shieldred -2, or excuse me, -4/-4. Finish it off with the Abrade, crew your Bankbuster, and swing. I mean, that's pretty huge. Now, you would end up trading with Viralata's Bankbuster as well, but essentially then you both would be in that top deck war, and you're, you know, if you're Darkstream, you're a little bit better off with 2 blood tokens to their
yeah,
1 blood token, and then them
100%.
losing the whole board.
And the Corpse Appraiser itself too also it kind of fixes the top of your deck. You get to look at 3, pick 1, the other 2 go to the yard. So like say you had 3 lands on top, now you just get those out of your way. Like you're not having dead draws for 3 turns. Like a lot of the Grixis pile, it does a ton. Now look here, the Blood Tide's going to make this a what? A 1/4, a 1/0? No, was it a 0/1? So to make it a 0/1, then you can abrade it. Yeah, because you know you're not you know yourself that you're not attacking. I don't think I would attack here. I mean, you don't really force a block because you're still sitting pretty good. I don't know if you want to lose a fully, yeah, exactly. You don't want to lose a fully. The pressure's on. Ooh, top deck to land.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, right now both of them are kind of a little bit at parity. Just because, you know, they both have a Bank Buster, they both have a creature that's essentially the same power, and toughness on both sides here. But ooh, Invoke Despair,
And
huge
that's
play
what
here.
I'm telling you is why Invoke. I said it from the beginning that Invoke was always the issue. I don't think Meat Hook made certain decks not playable, but Meat Hook didn't win the game. Invoke can just win you the game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Invoke does everything. It draws you cards. It burns the opponent out. You know, if they don't have anything, they're taking 6 and you're drawing 3. I mean, you know, it sounds like kind of like a red deck at that point. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and even at this point right now, so say with Invoke draws more invokes, it always does. They could possibly Darkstream could possibly lose here just to another Invoke.
And I do apologize if you guys hear anything in the background. We're just getting some things done here at the house, so I do apologize. Usually I don't commentate at this time, so if you hear anything extra in the background, sorry, but you know, just getting some things done here.
Oh, you're all gravy, man. People just love to see you. It's been so long since we've seen you on stream, like in the tournament setting, that it's good to have you.
Definitely much appreciated here. And it looks like Darkstream just has a Go for the Throat left. Now they could Go for the Throat the Harvester, but that puts them in an awkward position where, you know, anything that Viralata draws could pretty much be a GG here. Starting to
Yeah.
wonder if there was somewhere where maybe Darkstream missed a point of damage or two, to the point where this could have been a lethal turn, but at the same time, then Viralata wouldn't have swung in, right?
Yeah, I don't think they missed a lethal swing or any kind of points of damage. I think like just taking 3 invokes is what they've taken, right? Like without Darkstream wouldn't even have been at this low life total if the opponent hadn't had 3 invokes.
Exactly.
And the thing about Invoke as well is that it's always a 3-for-1. It's one of those cards that no matter what the situation is, it's a 3-for-1. Whether it being you have to sack 3 things, or you sack 2 things and it gets a card so it replaces itself and it deals 2 damage, or you get 3 cards and you're dealing 6 damage. Like no matter what scenario you're in, it's always a 3-for-1.
Sometimes you're better off taking the 3-for-1 because then they don't get to draw cards.
Yeah,
Like I think
exactly.
that's
That's
why
what.
the
Yeah,
white deck was so good against Grixis, because they would run the Invoke Despair, but the white deck would have 3 other permanents to sack. You wouldn't draw any cards, and then they'd still have a board left, right? They'd still
yeah,
have like
yeah.
one
One
or
hundred
two
percent.
planeswalkers left, and then you'd be like, well, that Invoke felt bad. And right now with the white deck kind of getting pushed out of the metagame a little bit, we are definitely going to be seeing a little bit more of that resurgence of Invoke Despair coming back. And it looks like
Especially with
Virolato's.
Chandra too.
Oh yeah,
Oh, look at
oh yeah.
that!
There's
Just
lag
take
at the stage to
6.
just finish the game. Yeah, bit unfortunate there for Darkstream. They definitely grounded the game out in their favor. It really felt like at one point the game was definitely going in their favor, but then Virolata started to get a lot more of that value. Right, the Fable was trending for a little bit. The Corpse Appraisers on their own end, and of course
Yeah.
that steady flow of card advantage from Bankbuster. We all know how huge that is, and at the end of the day, Virolata was making a little bit better use of their mana and their turns, whereas Darkstream kind of like ran out of gas just a little bit there near the end.
Yeah, and again, the Invoke Despairs. They like, it might not seem like a lot taking 2 damage, but them getting a card or them taking 6 damage, like it's a constant bit of damage, or it's a constant bit of card advantage, or you're losing permanent so you can't block properly, or it just affects the game state so much. And now we got new Chandra, that these Grixis piles, the rakdos piles, we've seen it in the Pro Tour right now, that if you land a Chandra, you better be able to deal with it right then and there, because an Invoke is coming, and there's nothing worse than a copied Invoke.
Big shout outs to Adine in the chat. Used to be a commentator here as well. We remember.
Oh, Dean,
Always,
what's
always
up,
remember
boy?
Dean.
Yeah, what a stud. He's a good dude.
Anybody who's coming over now from the Magic the Gathering stream, do appreciate y'all. If it's your first time, Hollywood Pizza here. We're hosting one of our first 3 tournaments of the month. We host 3 tournaments a month. All are free to play with catch prizes. So welcome in anybody who's new. Thanks so much for the follows. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget we have Magic the Gathering content either daily or every other day. We play a lot of Explorer, a lot of Standard, so definitely stay tuned for all that. If you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button, bell notification, leave a comment down below, and follow me on twitch.tv/HollywoodPizza, where you can catch me Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 3:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1:30 a.m. Pacific. And you can also catch us here on Sundays, just like we are doing right now for our tournaments at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find Hearsay at twitch.tv/HearsayTTV. And you can also find their link for their YouTube as well down below in the description. So thanks a lot, everybody, for watching and hanging out with us today.
Amazing. And it looks like the match stream definitely just ended. Looks like is it Stoyer? Nathan Stoyer?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, Nathan Stoyer just won.
One with Grixis yet
Amazing. What a
again.
great run. Yeah.
See, Grixis is the best deck, but only in some players' hands. That's what I always
Only in
say.
some, yeah.
I
It all
think
depends on the pilot.
I think Grixis was kind of getting a little bit trashed on for a bit, just because everyone was saying the win percentage of the deck went down as the RCQ season went by. But if you really think about it, there was a lot more Grixis than every other deck, so it kind of makes sense that the win percentage for Grixis would eventually go down. But like I said, in the right player's hands, that Grixis player is probably going to beat a lot
Yeah,
more
I
of what
mean,
they're going to
like,
face against.
Grixis has been great for a while now. Like red, black, blue has the best spells. You have counter spells, you have draw spells, you have removal spells, you have card advantage spells, you have cards that can push you over the top. That there's cards that can have you underneath. Like it just there's enough cards in Grixis that it does the most powerful things.
This is actually a really, really good duress for Virolata. Darkstream's in a little bit of a tough spot here. They're backing up into a corner without having that mana, and unfortunately, they're still missing some. Okay, yep, still missing a land
Oof.
drop. They don't have any creatures, I believe, for that Corpse Appraiser to exile, so Not really getting much value from that yet. Okay, so yeah, I mean this is definitely a tough spot. They're not drawing any lands. I need to hit a land
You're hoping for a
here.
land here.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's just tough, man.
yeah.
You know,
That's.
it's just a
I think that pretty much seals it in my eyes.
that's rough. I mean, they were staying up to parity. Obviously, Viralata getting the Fable plus the Bankbuster kind of starts to pull ahead in that regard. But at the same time, I mean, Darkstream just hits a land drop here. I mean, they potentially could have already killed this token, gotten a Shieldred, or
Yeah,
even one of
two
these invokes
fables, and this
online.
is a classic game of just like Fable just winning the game. Like this is one of the things that Fable the Mirror Breaker can do. Like it can just win you the game.
Yeah, everybody, a lot of people talk about, oh, if they have a removal, this and that, but, sometimes these threats, they go unchecked, and, right now, unfortunately, Darkstream does hit a land, but it's that curse of the tap land there as they hit Darkslip Shores that is not going to come into play on tap, so they do have to use this treasure that was made from the Bankbuster if they want to get rid of this Blood Tithe Harvester. Fable is
Mm-hmm.
coming down as well. It's just a tough spot to be in because let's say you use your treasure now and you don't top deck a land, then you're not going to be hitting these Invoke Despairs. Like, at the end of the day, Darkstream's really trying to make the game last long enough that they can cast this Chandra plus
Yeah,
one of these
you're
big
just trying to stay.
sorceries.
Yeah, you're just trying to stay alive here. Just you realize that, like, you just have to stay alive, and there's what 7 damage on the board. So so Darkstream says, okay, let's use a go for throat. Let's get rid of the Blood Tithe Harvester out of here. That way they have to tap down 2 of their tokens to swing with Bankbuster. Bankbuster. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't see Fable making it very much longer. We've seen that Fable won the Explorer PT. We've seen Fable win the Standard PT. We're gonna wait for Fable to win the Historic. It's already won a couple Modern. So like
It's
it's a
just weird
powerful card.
because, like, even if you ban Fate, like, I just feel like there's so many card advantage cards that are available to Rakdos that even if you ban Fable, I think that the deck would still be the best deck or one of the best decks in the format just
I think it'd be
because.
one of the best decks, but the thing is that you don't get the right. So with Fable, you don't get the right. Like Fable allows you to keep certain hands, but also at the same time, like it gives you the ability to go from 4 mana to 5, right? Like you go from 3 mana,
Yeah, that card does
get
it
your
all. It's
token,
card
right?
advantage, card filtering,
It can ramp you.
gives you a creature. Yeah, you can copy something later. It's kind of just like a really nuts card.
Yeah, like it does a ton. It does a ton to set you up. If you need a discard outlet like these Grixis Reanimators and Rakdos Reanimators lists are running, it gives you that discard outlet. Like it does quite a bit. Oh man, Invoke Despair. What? This is just salt in the wound.
Yeah, they're just in a really, really, really tough spot today. Like, just really, really tough. This is what happens when you miss land drops, right? Like, I talk about this all the time at the comic book store where I work at now. Like back in the day, you could miss a couple land drops and still feel like you're in the game. But nowadays, like cards do so much.
Yeah.
Every card replaces itself. Every card's aggressively statted. So if you miss
Mm-hmm.
like a land drop and your opponent goes 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, like you pretty much lost the game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real hard
Even
for you to
like
turn the corner around.
well, yeah, 100%. Like I said, I definitely remember a time where you could miss 1 or 2 lands, but now you can't even. If you miss one, you're already off kiltered. So we can do Chandra here is really good because we can go for the throat twice. Okay, so they're saying okay. Copy key keys so they can copy a treasure. Yeah, no, they didn't be able to do that. I don't think I would have minus there. I think I would have plus get the 2 mana and then you can go for the throat twice.
Yeah, I. It's That's a pretty tough call, though, right? I think
But I mean,
maybe
like if you plus, right? Because it's a +2, so you go from 5 to 7, and then you don't have to worry about your Chandra getting attacked down, right?
I'm actually surprised that they went for the redraw. It leads me to believe that they don't have another creature to crew the Bankbuster. So now that Chandra play does look a lot better, right? Because they need to have like some extra damage to kind of kill the Chandra. So maybe Darkstream kind of took a little bit more of a higher risk, higher reward play, right? Because now if they swing in with both of the goblins, yeah, they get to make a couple mana, but they're gonna lose a goblin, and they're not even
And
attacking the
they're just
Chandra.
going face.
Yeah, they're going face
Whoa.
here. Yep, gonna block. Yep, gonna go down to 4. I mean, this is actually really huge for Darkstream now. This is gonna be a
Yeah, but now you're
massive
given the
turn.
ability to for Chandra can just -2 again, kill
Well,
both of the
no,
goblins.
you want to. They need to play their Shieldred first.
Or I guess you can do this
Yeah,
and
Shieldred and
yeah,
Invoke.
there you
Yep.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, because now you're gonna double Invoke, so you have the opportunity to potentially gain 10 life here or more. Yeah,
That's so
Viralata's just
insane.
gonna. Yeah.
Well, and again, that's it. That's Invoke. That's like, they missed Darkstream missed so many lands. And then out of nowhere, here you go. Here's a double Invoke for you to win the
Yeah,
game.
like I said, when Darkstream was missing the land drops, they needed to stall the game to get to that turn that we just saw them winning, where you get the Chandra down, the Chandra lives, you untap, you cast your big sorcery, you get to double it, the game's over. Essentially, we're like
Yeah.
hitting back to all runs Epiphany standard, where all you need to do is just copy the all runs, and your opponent's probably just going to give up because you just get so much value by
Yeah,
taking an
by
extra
you getting
turn,
two
getting
turns is
4
just
bird
insane.
tokens. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And we're definitely seeing that here again. This is actually our last
And
match
Darkstream
of
just
the top
basically.
8.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, so let's see what happens here in this game.
Man, I feel like these games have been flying by today.
Oh, yeah, today, we didn't have enough players to really go over the top and have that 8th round. We had like 100 players, 100
Okay.
something players, so we only did 7 rounds today, and, they blew right by. I mean, you know why, too, though? Because there's no mono white mid range. Mono white mid range got pushed out of the
I mean,
metagame, so now the
that's
games
true.
don't last as long, right? Like a lot of our games over the last few tournaments have been going to time because it's all mono white mid range mirror matches.
Yeah, that's right. Mono White does take cool. Mono White does not win fast.
Exactly.
And look at these two, like 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Oh man, so we got Rakdos one. So we got Rakdos, 5-color ramp, and Rakdos has won so far. And then we have a Grixis versus Rakdos now.
Yep, gonna be interesting here. So yeah, we had what, Rakdos? Yeah, you're right, Rakdos. We had 5-color ramp one, which 5-color ramp can go over the top of the Rakdos deck.
Oh well, I mean, like as soon as Atraxa hits, if they don't have removal, that's game over. You really do. Don't be wrong. I don't lose too many games with after an opponent has resolved an Atraxa. There's certain things you can do. Basically, A, like you can remove it, or B, like the Atraxa decks draw so many cards, it's pretty easy to mill them out.
100%. And looks like Darkstream here has a lot of lands, a little bit of some action. Looks like they're just going to abrade the Razor Lash, which they can then exile with the Corpse Appraiser. So Darkstream has a little bit more of like a perfect draw here. They're curving
Yeah,
out.
that's a good sequence.
Yep,
And the
reactive.
Razor Lash is really good against the Grixis pile too, because Grixis doesn't have that many basic lands. So being able to just Razor Lash for 2 mana is pretty good.
100%. I mean, using the Corpse Appraiser to get rid of a recursive threat's huge here. So yeah, everything's coming up Millhouse for Hearsay here, or excuse me, for Darkstream. Looks like they're going to take a Chandra, which is a little bit more of kind of like a foresight, considering that Chandra is a 6-mana play. So Darkstream really, really relying on their next few draws here to potentially get something good. At the same time, Viralata only really has 4 cards in hand, and they could end up like discarding a couple here. Wow, they get rid of a Bankbuster.
A Bank Buster? Whoa. So either A, they have another Bank Buster, or they're looking for a land to go invoke here. Okay,
Going
no.
for the go for the throw. Did they miss a land drop? They did.
They did. No land
So,
drop.
yep,
So invoke
Darkstream.
here.
Yep, invokes huge here. Gets rid of both of the problematic permanents. Redraws them a card, burns them for 2 damage. Looks like they hit a Tekanuma. So, Darkstream get a little bit flooded. So, that Chandra grab is looking a lot better now than it did originally, considering they only really had a lot of lands. Go for the throw here
Oh
is
my
a
god.
fine draw.
Well, it's the perfect draw. You get to go Chandra and then go for the throat.
I think you just kill the Shieldred, though, for 4, right? Oh, okay. No, no, no. Yeah, it
No,
looks
because
like...
it comes in for yeah.
Yeah, Darkstream's being a little bit safer here. Going for the play you mentioned, which is just copying. They go for the... They could have gone a little bit high risk, high reward there by putting Chandra down to 1, but at the same time, they don't want to take that risk and then
Yeah.
get blown out by just any one removal. And Darkstream takes the match
What a
down
what a
very
what a
quickly
game.
here. Looks like Manthos does get to go first here.
Oh
Tiago
gravy.
is on the bigger version of Rakdos here. You can see that they run Breach the Multiverse in the main deck. And I'm not seeing... Yep, they do have the 2 Chandras. So, Hearsay, we've already seen it on stream once today where they played a Chandra and they were able to copy Breach the Multiverse. That's huge.
Yeah, Breach. I honestly didn't think that Breach was going to be too crazy of a card because it is a 7-mana sorcery. You really do have to like when you want to do those big sorcery spells, you really need to survive for a long time, making sure like you're not really getting that early aggression, you're not getting burned out, you're not getting aggroed out. There's other control decks that can counter it or just take it out of your deck, like with the Mind Stone, stuff like that. So I didn't really think that it was going to be that much of a play. But then I realized I was like, oh, well, Grixis can already kind of control and stave off the aggro. Rakdos is built to have a bunch of removal. So to get to turn 7 or turn 6 is actually not that hard.
100%.
And Breach could just be a win con in itself because it mills 10 cards. Then you get Chandra and you're milling 20 cards, putting 4 creatures in the battle. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, these cards that go over... this is what I'm saying here. Say, like, even if you ban some of these cards, like, the power of red-black is insane.
Yeah,
Every
but
card
here's
that
the thing,
red-black
though,
has
right?
is huge.
But the thing is that Fable again is the glue that keeps a lot of these decks alive.
They're about the big score into Breach. Like, it's
That's
pretty...
yeah,
That's
it's gonna breach
nuts.
big score in the
That's
breach. But I
nuts.
mean, like if say if you had Fable, right? You have a creature that's gonna be able to ramp you. If you have like not great cards in your hand, you can ditch those off for new cards.
This is about to be an insane turn for Tiago. Like,
It's
this
gonna be
is
a
about to be
pretty big
nuts.
turn.
Yeah, this is nuts. I mean, and if you think about Manthos, is probably about to slam in Atraxa. So, I mean, both of these decks are just doing some nutty stuff here. Wow, okay, so Yep, here comes the Breach. Let's see what they hit here, say. Big hits here, big hits. Oh, wow, they hit a Chandra and an
Wow,
Atali.
Chandra and Atali.
Oh, and an
And
Atraxa.
Atraxa.
Oh,
So
my
here's the
goodness. Atraxa
Atraxa.
and Atali, right? It's got to be Atraxa and Atali, right?
I think it's Atraxa and Chandra.
You
Yeah,
like Chandra more?
I like Chandra more
Oh, my
because
goodness. This is huge.
you
Wow.
already have invoke in hand, so you're gonna go invoke. Plus you're gonna make a 7 swing here. Just add 2 mana, cast Blood Tithe.
This is nuts. This is just nutty. This is so busted, man. They're about to
But
get a Blood Tithe Harvester down
this is
too.
mid-range being able to go over the top. So like if there was a viable really aggro list and like because red is kind of can do it, but again there's so many things you can do to stave off red. You got to kill fast, or you got to be able to go higher, like more over the top than they can go.
This is just...
So what
This
Manthos would have to
is
have a
so nuts.
Sunfall here in order for it to really like stay in the business.
Yeah, for them to stay in the game, they need the Sunfall. And at the end of the day,
Yeah,
I
there's a
mean,
Sunfall.
that's not even going to win you the game. They have double invoke. They're about to double invoke you, then double invoke you again. So they can play
One, two,
Shieldred,
three,
right?
four,
Let me
five,
see.
six,
Oh,
7,
they
8.
can't shield it and invoke, so I don't know if they should. They definitely probably want to double invoke at least.
Well, I would have gone Invoke. Oh, they can still go Invoke and Fable.
Yeah, this is nuts. This is just absolutely disgusting. Like the amount of card advantage here is insane. Look at this. Just get them down to 8. Uh, yeah, you can
And
add 2
Invoke
mana.
draws more Invokes. It always does.
Yeah, this is that breach of multiverse play was just huge. You know, being able to draw 4 more cards. Like at this point, Tiago's drawn at least 10 or 11 more cards than Manthos has, and we're only
Yeah,
on
and
turn 6.
this is the thing, Hollywood, is that I've been saying it for like 2 years now. I feel like I'm a broken record. I really feel that surgical extraction has to be printed in our standard, because there's just these cards like Invoke, like Breach now. There's cards that just can win you the game. That's what surgical extraction was for way back in the day. Was if you couldn't beat them in time, you could just strip them of their win con.
Yeah, Stonebrain's just a little bit too slow. Stonebrain doesn't
Stonebrain's
do it.
just well. It's not that the fact that Stonebrain's too slow. That the effect is good, but the effect is at 4 mana. 4 mana is too slow. I think if there was an ability, and like 3 mana is too slow, because we used to have Necromentia, but Necromentia was too slow. It has to be at 2 or 1 mana for it to be really effective. Now, I don't want Surgical Extraction at no mana, because that's why it was so powerful, because you just spend 2 life and strip them of their win con. But at 1 mana or 2, I think is perfect, and being able to go remove the thing that's going to kill me before I have time to even do anything with it, you know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, look at the power of Chandra plus the Breach. I mean, being able to go over the top of this 5-color deck, which I mentioned earlier, is a deck that's supposed to go over the top of the Rakdos deck. But the Rakdos
Yeah.
deck doesn't even care now because, they have them at 7. They have, board presence, and they have 7, a full grip, 7 cards in hand. Like,
Yeah,
it's going to be
and you
real
got to think
hard for
too,
that
like
5-color deck to
the ramp
overcome
deck,
this.
it doesn't do anything for 3, 4 turns other than ramp. Like it's ramping it's ramping turn 2, 3, 4. It's ramping up to its big spells. It wants to get to turn 7 as fast as it can. But the thing is, like, if you're not killing the Rakdos player or the Grixis player, they have way more powerful spells that go way more over the top of you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Mandos right now is really going into the tank. They're potentially thinking about whether or not they want to drop on a Traxa. Are you able to go onto their side to see maybe what they're contemplating about? I'm not
Yeah, for
sure what table
sure.
they're on.
Manthos.
Yeah, let's see if they got anything good there that maybe could help them. But yeah, if they're going to the tank, that means that they definitely have to have some kind of good answer here. I mean, this Chandra's about to go off, or maybe Manthos just is giving up here, maybe just timing out. Yeah, it looks like Manthos just going to concede here. Not really much they
Yeah,
could
I mean,
do
there's
about
not
what's
much.
happening.
Yeah, it's not much you could do. I mean, you don't. There's no mass. Like, there's no big removal spell that removes everything. That's why I love Farewell, because it kind of hit everything. But now you have battles, and it doesn't remove planeswalkers.
Yeah,
You need that.
Planeswalkers are huge right now.
Yeah, you really need that. Like, was it planar cleansing that removes all non-land permanents? Like, you really
Yeah.
need something that removes all permanents, or you need like an Elder spell that's going to remove all um planeswalkers. There's no big, huge planeswalkers that were like multiple planeswalkers that we're really worried about, but there's no like just reset the board kind of spell. Surgical Distraction, I still think it needs to happen. We need something that's going to remove win cons from people's decks, especially like from these decks that just go over the top so quickly. Going from big score into breach is so insane.
Yeah, and the 5-color deck was trying to ramp harder. They got their Invasion of Zendikar down, and they were thinking, all right, yeah, next turn I get an Atraxa, or maybe I'll ramp into like these 2 value double spells. But the Rakdos deck just did it better.
Yeah,
The Rakdos deck
and
ramped better than the ramp deck.
Breach really does do very well when your opponent is also playing a pretty powerful deck.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, they hit Atraxa, which is one of the best cards they could hit from their opponent's deck, right?
Yeah. It's like I get to refill my hand. I get the Chandra. Yeah, it's like okay,
And then
your
double invoke
go.
into double invoke is just GG. It's just gonna.
Yeah, it's your go. What do you got to do? It's a race to the finish, and treasures over ramping hard is pretty huge, especially when your ramp, like the 5-color ramp, is ramping sorcery speed, and rakdos and grixis can ramp at instant speed.
100%. I mean, right now they're just, Manthos is hoping to get their ramp earlier than Tiago is, and we'll see how this game goes for them. All right, so
Just waiting for them to go
Manthos
through here.
deciding what they're gonna do here. Just give me 1 second. Trying to make sure everybody's doing all right. I haven't gotten any messages or anything, so Manthos probably still there. Might just be taking their time, or maybe they. Like maybe last game they kind of disconnected a little bit. I know they did earlier, but okay, looks like they're back here. So let's see what happens.
Like, look at this. This hand. Normally, you kind of want to mulligan this, but you get a big score, so big score's fine. You're gonna end up getting rid of these lands, getting 2 more cards, and ramping, and you have a turn 2 play. So you're really just missing 1 turn.
Yeah, Manthos leading out with the forest, which it's fine, I guess. No tap land from them is a little bit awkward, so maybe they just have a herd migration here to gain some life, go get another basic to get like this ley line down that they potentially have. If you get a sneak of their hand, peek at their hand, that'd be cool too, just to see what they got going on. But right now, Tiago has pretty good start. The typical Blood Tithe Harvester. Manthos getting down this Topiary Stomper, which is potentially going to find a swamp, a mountain, or an island to give them more basics to help them out with potentially some kind of domain cards that they could have in their hand, or maybe even just ramping them to that second white source that they may need for that Sunfall.
I'm terrified if they draw. Okay, they didn't draw. I was like, I wonder if Tiago draws had it drawn a Fable, the Mirror Breaker there, Fable into big score, that would have been
Oh yeah, it's huge.
absolutely game over. Oh, it's the next
Oh,
card.
yep.
Oh,
Just one turn a little bit late there with the Fable, but I mean, I still think maybe the Blood Cycle was fine, but it looks like Manthos is gonna ramp pretty hard. They have 3 cards left, but let's say one of them's an Atali.
well, this puts
Then
lands in. They're gonna flip this, right? This puts lands into play, and then Stomper can attack.
yeah, they have this Edict though, so the Edict's gonna kill the Stomper.
Yeah.
So all I'm thinking is Manthos has a better setup for the following turn, where either they Atali or they can Atraxa if they have like the untapped island. But right now, the Shielders Edict's going to get rid of their Topiary Stomper, so they're not going to have any board presence outside of the battle. That's kind of just sitting there. And
Oh
yeah,
my
Tiago hits the
god.
breach, so we can expect to see this big score into Breach the Multiverse yet again here on the following turn. So Tiago definitely trying to go over the top of the 5-color deck,
But
which is a
now
deck that's supposed to go over the top
Manthos
of
was on
them.
the
So
play. Manthos on the play. So let's see how crazy things gets here. They do have all the mana to cast Atraxa. They're gonna go Herd Migration instead.
I mean that's pretty
Pretty
good.
good.
That's pretty
It's
good.
pretty
It gets
good.
you 4/3/3s. I mean that's not bad. 12 power
What are
for
they
7
missing?
mana is pretty
They're missing
good.
an island. Oh, so they actually didn't have enough mana to cast Atraxa because they didn't have a
Yeah,
blue
they needed
source.
they needed the untapped island there. All right, here comes a breach to multiverse. Let's
Here
see
comes
what
the
they hit.
breach. Atraxa again.
Wow,
So I think
Atali and
they're.
Atraxa. I mean, those are
I think
pretty
they just
good.
go.
Those are
I
pretty
think I think
good.
you're gonna go Atali here. You don't need Chandra because you don't have the invokes in hand. Yeah, so Atali and
Oh, Atali and
Atraxa.
Atraxa this time, you think? Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, you're right. There's nothing to really. Well, you have the go for the throat. Like, you
Yeah, we can go
technically
with
could
the
uptake on Chandra and kill 2 of their cards, and then still have a really good board presence against them, but, I mean, this is just disgusting here. Say, turn 5, 2 7/7s,
yeah.
and
And
then you
here's
get to
a
draw
and
more of your
and
7/7s.
you get the board wipe too. You find the blood, the Brotherhood's End.
I might have taken that Gix's command, but I guess that's still fine there. I guess
And
Gix's
then what do
doesn't
you
get
get to
rid of their
cast?
3/3, so yeah.
Awesomeification and duress. All right, so let's see what's in your hand. We get to get rid of one of your attackers. Oh my
That's
goodness,
right,
what a
MTG Joe, it
turn!
is me. Yeah, massive turn. Don't think you swing. Think you just stay back.
You just stay back, and then
Uh,
they have a sunfall. They had double sunfall in
I think
hand.
this one's. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, they still have the Sunfall, so I guess you have to attack. A little bit
And I
awkward,
mean,
but
this is actually a pretty huge sunfall.
you
You're
get rid
gonna
of the
X
Brotherhood's
it.
End. I think you get rid of that Brotherhood's End. You got to have the mana. I think discarding the land's a big mistake because you got to get to this Atali that you have in your hand.
Hmm.
Something you get rid of Brotherhood's End, which isn't really doing anything. Because if they just board wipe, they get rid of their tokens anyway. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that discard because we got to get to this Atali. Yeah, Sunfall's going to get rid of everything. They get to incubate for 6. So, okay. I guess they could use the Brotherhood's End to destroy the incubator token. So in
Yeah, they're gonna get rid
hindsight,
of the token.
I
Yeah.
guess that's a little bit better, but obviously not having any red to play this Fable's a little bit annoying, but that Bankbuster is a colorless card that's going to be here.
I really wish that Boseiju didn't say opponent's artifact, enchantment, or land. I really hope they just said, those to target it so that you could blow up your own stuff.
Yeah, agreed with that. So 2 cards in hand that we don't know about from Manthos. So they're going to cycle the Ziatoras. They're going to redraw, hoping to hit something good here. Manthos
And
definitely got their
they
back
don't
against the
want to
wall.
yeah, they don't want to Boseiju here at all because then they'll have the mana for Atali. Well, they have the mana for Atali anyways.
Commentator's curse. Just going to top deck it.
Rich getting richer.
Here comes the Atali. Probably hit an Atraxa while we're at it. Yep, there's the
Oh, a
Atraxa.
duress and an Atraxa.
Yep,
Oh my God, rips the
called it.
Atraxa off the.
Yep,
Oh my, and they have their tracks of their own. Oh no,
yep.
what do they have in their hand? Oh no,
We
they
haven't
didn't
seen it
duress
yet.
yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. There's Leyline Binding.
What are we binding? The
Probably the
Atali?
Atali. Either that or the Bankbuster. Like, if you had another Sunfall or whatever the card's called in your hand, then you can get rid of the Bankbuster and then get rid of the other cards.
Yeah. Yeah, these like the cards that go way over the top of someone saying. Now, mind you, again, Atali and Breach, I don't think are like they're very powerful, but they're not crazy. Like the opponent has to get there, right? You have to turn 4 was it? You have to have the big score in hand. You have to find the breach. You have to hope it's not going to get countered. You have to stay alive. There's so many different things that you have to deal with.
I mean, it seems pretty
Tango.
powerful here.
This video is brought to you by MagicJank.com, the spiciest cards for your sauciest decks. Buy and sell Magic the Gathering products and gear today on MagicJank.com.
Looking for the latest comic book to add to your collection? How about the last card for that Magic the Gathering Commander deck? Well, the comic book stores got you covered. Shop online at comicbookstore.tcgplayerpro.com or come in person at 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey. Pizza people, are you enjoying the content? Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit that bell icon as well. That way, anytime any of our new content comes out, you're able to see it right away. Hey, leave a comment down below as well. Tell us what you're going to play in the next event, or tell us what you're enjoying about the video. Don't forget, check out the description too. We've got tons of great content down below. And on top of that, we're going to have our tournament schedule too. So get in on it. Hope to see you. Yeah, just these really big spells really help you as the game progresses, right? Like, you know, obviously Tiago also has a few cards that could end up being dead, but jumping into the finals here, folks, we have Marcelo versus Tiago, rakdos on rakdos. Tiago's deck list is more of the Breach the Multiverse variety. with the Chandras, and Marcelo's a little bit more of the lower to the ground stock list that we're a little bit more used to seeing in the rakdos decks. But let's see what happens here in this matchup. What do you think here? So you're saying the Tiago's probably got it here?
I think Thiago's got it game 1, and then I think in game 2, Marcelo grabs it. That would be my guess. I think Abrades are going to have to be a lot more main deck than people are thinking because there's so many 3 power or 3 toughness creatures and the bank busters. Like Abrade's actually going to be a premium removal spell over Go for the Throat. I know Go for the Throat's going to end up killing Shieldreds, but realistically, you only deal with 2 of them, right?
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, if you're looking across the table, Bank Buster's an artifact creature. That's a card that you kind of have to have an answer for, and it dodges a Go for the Throat.
Yeah.
And a little bit of a slower start here from both players, kind of getting some more powerful cards down, getting some redraws here. This Fable token is going to be able to generate some mana. I mean, Marcelo's already gone through 3 counters of this Bank Buster, getting the token and the treasure now. So it looks like they could have
Marcelo's looking for lands, and they're not finding them.
Yeah, there's a...
It doesn't matter. They have the lands. They're going to get invoked here. Ugh, it feels rough. Now, would you go invoke or would you go double Fable and say, all right, like, Fable can win you this game, and invoke can actually bring you back?
I think I'm playing... I think I'm playing the invoke. Obviously, if the token hadn't died, I'm playing the Chandra to set up for the invoke, but I think you're invoking here because it's going to give you the best chance to get some more redraws and get rid of that token on top of that. You're not leaving anything behind where that Bank Buster attack and really deals you a ton of damage.
Well, I think I can go Fable into Braid here, or Fable into Go for the Throat.
Or like you said originally, that Abrade to hold up against that Bank Buster does seem a little bit more of a better play.
I think Thiago's got my mind, and because like I said, right now, double Fable says I can win with double Fable. Deal with this. Okay, you deal with this. Now here's double Invoke.
Yeah, that's very true. You also set up so that Marcelo, if they want to crew that Bank Buster, puts them in like a really awkward spot because you still have an Abrade that's just outright going to destroy it.
Yeah.
And right now, Marcelo's just missing land drops. A bit unfortunate here in the finals.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than just missing lands. Okay, we got the land there.
Yeah, I got the land this time.
This Blood Tithe isn't going to do much.
Yeah, Blood Tithe and Pass is a bit tough.
I think this here is where you're going to go Chandra into double Go for the Throat. You attack here.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably not blocking. Oh, I wouldn't do this now. I think you can Chandra.
Yeah, I mean, Marcelo already snapped off a Go for the Throat, and that Go for the Throat was a little bit of desperation. So, listen, they could have another Go for the Throat and a Braid here, which would definitely stifle your plans a little bit, and there is the Abrade.
Yeah.
So, maybe maybe Thiago thought, maybe I'll go for the safer play of just outright killing the Blood Tithe Harvester rather than even letting it get 2 attacks, because let's say you attack and they block with that Blood Tithe anyways, then the Chandra Go for the Throat play still seems a little bit weak at that point because you're not getting the 2-for-1 out of it. Granted, you are still getting a Planeswalker on the battlefield with 7 loyalty, so yeah, that's definitely something, but looks like Thiago going for a little bit more of the slower play, kind of like stabilizing and, making the game last a little bit longer to where they want it to get to.
That's fair. I just think having a Planeswalker on with like almost double Fable, and then you have Invoke in hand, like that's just insane to me. Like for this turn right here, you have been casting 2 Invokes.
I actually don't even really like this as much because I still think you can almost Blood Tithe and Go for the Throat, just have like that piece of interaction, and then set up the Invoke. But at the same time, maybe Thiago thinks
Marcelo just has removal on lock.
Yeah, definitely. The Black Cleave's coming down top, so we can expect probably like a Chandra plus that Go for the Throat or a Chandra plus Blood Tithe if Marcelo doesn't really have a follow-up play here or anything that's threatening.
Yeah, my question is, does Marcelo have any answers to a resolved Chandra? other than Invoke. Yeah, they're not running Children's
They
Edict.
have a
They
light
have
up
Light
the
Up the
night.
Night, but
Yeah.
that's not really. I wouldn't say that's a really good way to deal with
Invoke,
it.
light up the night.
They have Soul Transfer on the side.
Their own Chandra. I think I'm slamming this Graveyard Trespasser and holding up the Go for the Throat. They're just going for the Chandra instead, though. At this point, it looks like the players are deciding that our lines are not good enough for them. So Chandra here, gonna shoot down the token and deal them 2. I still...
I see what Tiago's doing. Tiago's going, okay, you dealt with these threats, here's another threat. You dealt with those threats, well, here's another threat. You dealt with that threat, well, here's another threat. Where, like, my play is, let me overwhelm you with all of my threats. Now, like, deal with my board versus, like, you're giving them more time, see? So, like, this turn here, he probably, like, Tiago would have been able to already have double invoked.
Well, speaking of
But
double
here we go.
invoke,
We're going to have an invoke off, and invoke's just going to win them the game.
yeah, and Graveyard Trespasser helps as well, where Graveyard's going to deal additional points of damage. And let's say Marcelo doesn't play anything, then that Graveyard Trespasser is going to flip over and start to deal 6 damage a turn or more. So really, really big play here. Either way from Tiago. Potentially setting up a little bit better where they knew that if they did have that invoke, all they were going to get rid of was that Chandra. But look at this. It is definitely an invoke off. Keep in mind, though, Hearsay, Tiago has another invoke, which will put Marcelo to 1.
Yeah. Going to 1 here, and then you could probably... And they have mana for a Shieldred if they draw it. Yeah, okay,
Yep,
and then that's
exactly.
game.
Yep,
That's
yeah,
game.
that's game over there. Yep, with the Graveyard Trespasser. Getting rid of a creature in the graveyard, and you had plenty. Or excuse me, you only have just that Graveyard Trespasser. Oh, you got to get rid of that graveyard. Why are you even looking at something else? Don't tell me you're going to get rid of a spell. Wow.
Oh, no! Oh, whoa.
Wow.
Oh, my God!
That
They
was...
missed the game!
Wow, they actually just did not go for the game there. Yeah, I mean, Tiago's going to be watching this VOD and shooting themselves in the foot. Now they have their own Graveyard Trespasser. This is just...
And puts them to 2, so that's not lethal. Like, they missed lethal. Tiago just missed lethal there.
I mean, they have it here. They just cut down and go for the throat. So, I mean, they gave themselves a little bit, just definitely misplay. Not a good play there.
A glimmer. They gave a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, not a good play there, but still able to take it down. They had a bunch of cards in hand, including the double removal spell. So
they want to make the finals of the top 8 more exciting. That's what it was. They're like,
yeah.
wait for them to see this.
Yeah, I mean, Tiago definitely dodged a bullet there. If Marcelo had an answer or a way to get out of that. Big mistake there. Or, maybe they didn't even notice that the Graveyard Trespasser was in a graveyard because of all these alternate arts.
Yeah, alternate arts can definitely get you there.
But, nonetheless, Tiago able to take game 1 down. Looks like they're sideboarding here, maybe even getting rid of these Brotherhood's ends, knowing that they can just go over the top anyways, and they have enough removal. I mean, they ended the game by still punting and having double removal spell to end it, so, I mean... They still have tons of gas left. It looks like they're going to bring in the Soul Transfer, which is a great grindy card. Exiles cards like the Razor Lash Transmogrants. They're cutting down some
and folks at home, this is the final game of today. This is the final of the top 8. Hopefully, maybe Marcelo wins and we get a game 3. But as it stands right now, this could be the final game. I want to give a huge shout out to the man right next to me, Hollywood Pizza. What a legend he is. Definitely come in, shoot a follow, subscribe, come over on Tuesdays and Thursdays when he streams. Hit him up.
Much love, man. Really, really appreciate you. Kind of like a little bit of a flashback with us commentating together here. It's been a long time.
It's so good to have you on screen, buddy. It's been a long time since we've had you being able to do any of the top 8s or on the tournaments. So it's a breath of refreshing air.
And, I know a lot of people come in here and they only really see the tournament, so they don't even normally get to see me. But, at least now they get to see who I am and, they can even come in and thank me if they don't catch me during the week, because I know it's a little bit of an awkward time for some people in the States. But
Hmm.
looks like Marcelo here going to get the game started with the Bank Buster, and Tiago is going to respond by getting their own 2-drop artifact in a Razorlash Transmogre, a card that was big in the Pro Tour and seems like it's pretty big here. Marcelo, super aggressive hand here. Gonna crew the Bank Buster, come in for 4. Do they have a tap land? Wow, no land drop.
No land
Means that
drop.
Tiago takes the play away from Marcelo. Yep, gonna get rid of that Invoke. And, Marcelo kept a pretty decent hand. They have a lot of plays, but they're missing land drops.
And missing land drops is not where you want to be in a pseudo mirror.
Definitely not. Looks like they missed another one, but granted, Marcelo has a pretty aggressive start here. They're going to let the Blood Tithe resolve, which I'm actually pretty surprised with. I thought that what they were thinking about doing was actually the correct play, where they could cut down the Razor Lash, so then it means that they end up taking less damage, but I actually find this interesting. Tiago is willing to take the 7 damage here, say?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, especially like when you're on the back foot here.
Yeah, I mean, they're down to just 9, and that Razor Lash can't block. I don't think I agree with this. I think Tiago was making the right decision, and they kind of backed out a little bit from it, in all honesty.
Because now you're kind of hoping that you're basically what Tiago's hoping is saying, hey, I'm already ahead. If you miss lands, I'm just going to continue beating you, but I'm not missing lands, and I'm getting to my invoke before you do.
100%. I mean, right now, this Invoke isn't enough. You're taking a damage off your Sulphurous Springs, going down to 5. And it's almost lethal on the other side of the battlefield here. Yep, gonna Invoke. That's fine. Gets rid of one of the Razor Lashes. So realistically, you take 3, go down to 2. If they top deck a land and they have like a Graveyard Trespasser, things are pretty rough. And Tiago not even drawing anything good here, just 2 lands. Granted, they do have the Chandra as backup, so they're potentially going to be able to wipe the board. But we know Razor
Oh
Lash comes back
man,
at
I'm
instant
telling you,
speed.
this is to the wire, and I mean Marcelo, Tiago's gonna about to resolve a Chandra, and that's gonna basically kill them. Like that's gonna kill them if they don't have a response here, because they can just -5, deal 5, and then hit you for 3.
Yeah, 100%. I think this was unfortunately a little bit awkward here for
Yeah, it doesn't look like
Marcelo.
you have to find a duress here. It has to be duress, or game's over.
100%.
Oh,
There's
what
a
a
duress.
call!
There's the top deck duress.
Yeah, and then you have to play
And
out the Fable here so you can have the ability to block.
but they have a go for the throw as GG.
Yeah, that's GG's.
Yep, Tiago.
Oh man, I told you the
I
duress.
I
What
think
a
that one
key.
play lost them the game here. See, I think they needed to cut down the Transmogrant, and they would have
Yeah,
saved themselves 3 life points.
3 life,
They
three
would
life,
be
and then they would have been
at
able to crack back. Yeah.
yep, they'd be at 2. And they would get some more redraws off this Fable, and the game would continue. But unfortunately, they yeah, that was a bit rough. I think they just
Hey,
made a
we got
really
a
big
game
misplay
3.
there.
We got a game 3, and that's what we like to
Yeah.
see. Game 3s.
Yeah, we're gonna see where this goes here. I mean, listen, we haven't even gotten to the top end spells really. The Chandra got discarded. We've seen an
Yeah,
invoke off where
this has
both
literally
players
just
were
been
playing
it's
the
been beat
invokes.
down. And this is what I'm saying. Like, what does the Rakdos and Grixis decks lose to? They lose to the beatdown. Who can kill you? Can I kill you before you get to your big spell? Sorry, big spells. And keep in mind, Tiago did resolve an invoke, and it just didn't matter.
Yeah, Marcelo was just way far ahead in terms of the aggression. So you can even see there, missing land drops was okay just because they had enough cards on the battlefield that were taking huge chunks out of the opponent. And
Oh, that's a great
this is
hand.
risky.
Great hand.
It's risky though. It's definitely a risky
Oh
hand.
man, you got 3 removal spells into a Shieldred.
Looks like Tiago's going to take the risk here by keeping their 2-land hand. Ooh, didn't draw it. So Blood Tithe Harvester coming down. We'll see if there's a cut down from Marcelo. And no stop
No
means
cut
that
down,
the
no
Blood Tide's
stop.
going to survive. That could be a go for the throat here. I'm guessing Bankbuster though from Marcelo to kind of just get something down on the battlefield and churn away into redraw. Ooh, they get their own Blood Tide down, which well, they don't know. But Tiago has a ton of removal here. Ooh, do you Bankbuster? I think you use the Blood Tide to kill their Blood Tide and Bankbuster, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I get that they want to go. They want to go in for damage. They want to race damage, so that's good.
Or maybe you discard this Chandra, and you try to dig for a land, knowing that you can get to the Shieldred really quickly. Oh, I'm telling you, risky hand. Hearsay, 2 lands. That's risky. Here's a Graveyard Trespasser coming down, and Tiago needs to hit a land drop, or they are definitely taking a bit of a beating. Got a hype train going on here. Thank you so much, everyone.
Let's go, Hype Train. Thank you for the subs. Appreciate you. Much love. Ooh, are we gonna have the missed land? Is gonna be the reason why we lose? Gotta find a land here.
Yeah, gotta find a land. Gotta find a
Oh,
land.
and it's an untapped land, so it's good.
Okay, so yeah, I think you go for the throat.
Go throat. What are you discarding? Invoke? Invoke can kind of bring you back into the game. What are you discarding?
Yeah, maybe the Bankbuster is a little bit too slow right now.
I don't know if I'm discarding the Bankbuster, man. That's cards.
I think you put yourself in a bad spot, though. I think you have to. You have to keep your bigger cards. You have to hit these land drops. Like, listen, you missed 3 land drops in a row, so, you know, by statistics, your percentages say that you're probably going to hit some lands here eventually. So, you know, Tiago right now is trying to turn the tide. Going to come in with their Reckoner Bankbuster. Yeah, surprisingly enough, Marcelo did not crew their Bankbuster. Choosing rather to draw off of it, knowing that if they crewed it, they were not going to draw just because that Bankbuster was still summoning sick.
Invoke. I smell an invoke. Oh, Trespasser's pretty good.
Yeah, great. Trespasser's pretty good. You know,
a reason Trespasser is such a really good card because it becomes a 4/4 if you don't cast anything, but it forces them for you to spend 2 cards to kill it.
Exactly. Yeah, getting that 2-for-1 is huge, and yeah, Marcelo's gonna come in for a big chunk of damage here with this Bankbuster, putting the Tiago down to 14 here, and you know, even if Tiago draws a land and plays the Shieldred, you know, Marcelo might have this go for the throat to essentially wrap this game up. So we'll see what happens here in the next couple turns. Could dictate the end of this game, and unfortunately Tiago does not hit anything but this Fable that they are almost forced to have to play here.
I think you kind of have to play it, don't you?
Yeah, it gets you some redraws. It gets you a land. And you got to block with this Blood Tide Harvester on the Graveyard Trespasser. I don't think you can hold this go for the throw. It doesn't kill the Razor Lash, and to kill the Trespasser, you have to pitch a card. So, listen, I get that.
What if you did this? What if you Blood Tide the Razor Lash and then you go for the throat, the Trespasser?
You actually can't because there's no blood tokens. Tiago just spent.
Oh, that's right.
Token.
Yeah, he just spent it. Yeah. You're
so
right.
You know, Tiago's in a pretty rough spot. I feel like Tiago's a little bit tempted to use this Bankbuster to redraw, but I don't think that that's the answer. I think you have to slam the Fable. Oh, well, they're going to go for the redraw here.
Your play is not good.
I don't really like this
play. Not good.
Yeah, I don't really like this play, but they get rewarded. They hit the untapped land. Okay, gonna kill the Graveyard Trespasser here, discarding this Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Yep. Or the Invoke.
Or the Invoke. Oh my
I don't like the Invoke. I think I get rid of the Fable here. You know, you're 1 land away from being able to cast the Invoke, and, you know, just going to have to pass.
Invoke can bring you back into the game, too.
100%.
Are they going to attack? Yeah. They're racing. Oh, this is a big old race.
I mean, look, if Marcelo has a 3-powered creature, they come in for 7, get Tiago down half of their life total. Or if Marcelo has like a shielder, this game's going to wrap up very, very quickly here.
Oh, invoke. I knew him. I honestly. Oh, man. So now you're down to 6.
Yep. Yep, gonna go down to 6 here. Looking to hit a land, maybe. A Braid. Braid's not gonna do it. And once again, if they had just played the Fable, not sure here. So draw off the
So now
Bankbuster.
yeah, now you're forced to play Shieldred, but you're dead to removal.
Well, you're dead to an Invoke. Like you outright lose
That's true.
to an Invoke.
You are
here.
dead to an Invoke. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You outright lose to this Invoke, so it's, you know.
Well, you know what? I did say, hey, I called it. I said Tiago was going to take game 1, Marcelo on 2, and then I didn't know about game 3.
I mean, like you said, Marcelo's sideboard's a little bit better against Tiago's deck, and yeah, Tiago unfortunately here got a crew. Got to crew this Bankbuster. We'll see if they have another removal like an Abrade for this Bankbuster. And Marcelo, 3 cards in hand, gonna redraw. Draw for the turn, excuse me. Hit a land drop, and do they just have an Invoke?
Yep. Yeah, told ya.
There's
I knew that.
for the win.
Invokes draw more invokes. Great game, very well played. Doesn't even have to crew. Can just swing in with the 3/3/1.
Yep. Congratulations to Marcelo for taking down the tournament. Looks like they were able to turn the game around with these Invokes, even through some missed land drops on both players' ends. But congratulations, Marcelo, for taking the tournament down.